Hello, ADR squad. I got something very important I want to share with you all. It piggybacks off our discussion about vision that we had over the weekend, and also my last videos about for sales. I think selling yourself on yourself and your product first is most important, and then your energy and the way you greet in the beginning of the call next important. And this piece, I think, is the third and next important piece of this whole staircase that'll climb your way to the top. And it's goals, right? I think goals are really important. I think setting the right goals, maybe 90% of success, maybe 75. Um, no matter how large of a piece of the pie of success it is, it's huge. It's not always as easy as it sounds. It gets easier as you set and achieve more goals. It just takes practice, right? You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So my suggestion is with goals, just jump in, start setting them. You can tweak them, start working on them, and the better you get with those, the better you're going to get with a lot of things in your life, both professionally, personally. So I definitely suggest making sure to set specific goals. We all have goals. We all have major goals. They are vague dreams. Dreams are good. It's part of a vision of the future. And that's what we were talking about over the weekend. Um, we also need more specific goals or targets, right? Um, without a visible target, even the best marksman is never going to hit the mark, right? You can take the best shooter in the world. That could be basketball, that could be firearms, that could be a bow and arrow, that could be a soccer goal, whatever you want. You put a blindfold on them and they don't know where the target is, they're not going to hit it. Um, you can have the best ship in the world, right? The best airplane. You can have the best airplane, staff, crew in the whole world. If they get up in the air and they don't know where they're going, um, there's actually a really good chance that they don't land in a safe place and they all crash and burn. So a boat usually never leaves the harbor without a goal, a jet like we're talking about. And at the same time, I personally, especially with a sales focus or any type of business focus, really, it's tough to get started without a goal. You don't want to just freestyle it, right? You have to have a specific target that you're looking at that's visible for you. Otherwise, you just don't know where you're going. I say pick something you're going to enjoy and think about your why, right? This is really important. Why are you looking to achieve this goal? With a strong enough why, you can overcome any adversity or overachieve any adversity. Um, I like to make my goals about family, or my why, not my goals about family or someone else. Because a lot of times I'll do more for others than I will myself. Um, though I'll do more for others. No, I don't have that $5 for you to borrow. But no, just kidding. If you need to borrow $5, I got you. Pick goals that cause you to rise. Think big. One of the biggest challenges of the goals are setting them too low and hitting them. Many times in the past, I've set goals, achieved them, and later asked myself, why did I set this goal so low? So be really specific about what you want and set goals high. There are different philosophies about how often to look at these really large goals. We're going to talk a little bit about breaking them down into bite-sized pieces, but the large overall goal or vision, some people would say to look at these goals or visions every day so you know where you're going at all times. And I get that. I like to do that in some instances. Some people say it's like looking at the top of a huge staircase or mountain. Don't get up and look at the top of this mountain or the top of the staircase every day. Sometimes you just want to look at the next step. So it just depends where you're at on this journey, what type of person you are, things like that. So there's two different philosophies to choose from here. You choose what's best for you. Why do we need goals? It's tough, if not impossible, to make it to an unclear destination. We can end up moving around, creating lots of activity and hoping to be successful. That's not what top performers do. Goals put laser-like focus on what you really want. What you focus on grows. What's measured gets improved. Goals help us dream. They help us meet and achieve our potential. Goals are how we track our progress. All right. We want to make goals, especially the smaller bite-sized goals, more specific. Some people use the acronym SMART goals. A lot of you have probably heard this before, SMART. The S stands for specific. Like, for instance, you don't want to just say, I want to make more money. You want to say, I want to make $5,000 more next year. Like, that's a specific goal. It has to be measurable. In this situation, that $5,000 is measurable. At the end of the year, I can say, hey, I hit it or I missed it. Maybe it's a quarterly goal. Maybe it's an hourly goal. Maybe it's a daily goal. Make it measurable. It could be how many calls I make before noon or how many calls I make the whole day. Then you can look at where you're at noon and you can adjust if needed. Like, oh, I better really pick it up, or let me focus more on this throughout the afternoon. They have to be achievable, right? That's really important. That's more so for the bite-sized goals, not the overall vision. When you're looking at an overall vision, be careful thinking about whether or not it's achievable, because your mind will talk you out of things that are achievable, huge goals. But these small bite-sized goals, we want to make them achievable, especially if it's daily or hourly or weekly goals. Achievable. You want to set the bar high, but you want to make things achievable. That way you feel like a success throughout the way, and you have reasons to celebrate. You want to make them relevant, right? If we're thinking about our career, like something here at ADR, we don't want to set goals that aren't going to be relevant to our business. And we want to make them time-based. So lots of people say, if you have a goal without a deadline, you just have a dream. And dreams are okay, but for these bite-sized piece goals, bite-sized parts of our overall vision, we want to make those time-based with a specific date and time deadline. Okay. The most powerful goals are about small behaviors in the process of achieving overall larger goals or vision. They have the saying, what is it? Some people say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And this is one I always remember was, how does it go? By the yard, it's hard. Inch by inch, it's always a cinch. So basically, yard, 3 feet. You look at that. Sometimes it can be tough. You break it down into inches in that yard, and things can be much easier. And you, like I said, you want to focus on the behaviors. Like, a sale isn't a behavior. A sale is the result of behaviors, and repeating these sales behaviors will help you reach these sales goals. Therefore, I want to control my behaviors that bring about desired results, such as starting my day structured and positive, selling myself on me every morning, selling myself on my product every morning, answering calls and introducing myself with the right energy, making X number of calls, performing X number of quotes, assuming the sale instead of asking for it, and so on. And like I said, we want to break our goals down to bite-sized pieces. We're going to want weekly goals, daily goals, maybe hourly goals, if not at least a by noon goal. I think it's important to say, okay, by noon, I want to have this done. Sometimes you're going to hit it, sometimes you're not, but at least you'll have an aim, you'll have a structure, and you know how to tweak things throughout the day. And remember, you're not always going to have a straight line to success. Lessons comes from failure. You're going to hit some goals, you're going to fail at other ones. You're going to learn better how to set goals along the way. You're going to learn better how to achieve goals along the way. You're going to learn better how to focus. You're going to bring out your potential. And all this is going to really help you, but it's not going to be a straight line to success. It never is. And that's the beauty of it. So just always remember that it's never a straight line, and keep your head up when you're down, because sometimes we learn our most from failure. The next suggestion here I'm going to make is only for the hardcore, but it works. So here's what you do. You set a very specific goal with a specific deadline. This is probably a little bit longer of a goal, maybe monthly or quarterly, could be weekly. Write out a check large enough to hurt you. to an organization that has values opposite of yours, address an envelope and stamp it, put the check in the envelope. If you achieve the goal, shred it. If you don't, drop the check in the mail. I've done this before. It's powerful. I could not stand the thought of putting that check in the mail. I couldn't stomach it. I was getting close to my deadline on something specific in the past, and I didn't think I was going to be able to hit it. But just the thought of putting that check in the mail, I couldn't do it. So I really went into overdrive and made sure I made that happen, just so I didn't have to put that check in the mail to an organization that had exact opposite values in mind. So it's a little hardcore, but again, the opposite of that, and I think we should do this on all occasions, pick a celebration and stick to it, right? Too often we meet goals and we just go right on to the next. So I'm guilty of this a lot. Meet a goal and just set it higher and just move on. But pick that celebration, stick to it, celebrate yourself, celebrate your victories, bring loved ones along. I prefer including piñatas and cake in my celebrations, but that's just me. Either way, make sure to celebrate yourself. We should all have a vision of the future. Setting goals is like creating a roadmap to your vision or your future. This tells us what should be important to you and also what you should ignore. This tells us what to say no to, which is really important. Steve Jobs said, people think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on, but that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other ideas that there are. You have to pick carefully. I'm actually as proud of the things that we haven't done as the things I have done. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. And man, is that true with sales calls and being in sales. It's saying no to the phone, saying no to chat sometimes. It's saying no to all the distractions that are around. There are tons of them. But if you have your mindset on your goal and your why, it's easy to say no to those things that are not bringing us to our personal vision and mission. Say no to those things. Warren Buffett said the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. That quote has always stuck with me. Say no to almost everything. Say yes to the things that support you, your goals, your vision, and that's it. Pick the right vision and the right goals. This will help you decide what to say yes to, what to say no to, and it will put you on the right track to the future that you want. All right. Thank you guys. If you have any questions, suggestions, feedback, let me know. I got your back at your disposal with a smile.